We find a man there, a prophet of God. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. This is a man who is sick. A man that is seriously sick. He is almost, everybody has even preparing for their burial. They have even started preparing for who will be burying them. And everything has been put in place. Verse number 2. The Bible says, Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the Lord of the wall and prayed unto the Lord. Listen to verse number 3. And he said, Remember now, O Lord. He was reminding him. In other words, he was now presenting his account. He was not just crying and shouting and hollering and complaining. And no, he said, God, okay, can we, before you finish me, can I give an account of my stewardship? Can I, God, present my account to you? Now, the question is, as a saint in the church, because you go through challenges, you have situations where you need divine intervention. Before God considers you, how is your account? Because you'll be required to give an account. And Hezekiah said, and said, Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee. He said, How? I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart. Now look at that. He is giving what? Now, do you have an account yourself? Is there something that you can present to God when you need a wife, when you need a husband, when you need a job, when you need money, when you need healing, when you need deliverance? Is there something you'll present to God and you tell God, God, remember, I want to remind you, this is my account. I'm giving you the account of my activities. I want to tell you who I am. I want to tell you, lest you may have forgotten whom you are dealing with. I want to present my account. And he said, and I have done that which is good. Now he is saying, this is my account. There is no magic, let me say again, in dealing with God. He said, Behold, I come quickly with the reward in my hand to give every man according as his work shall be. What have you been doing? It is true. We thank God. You come to church. When you sit back there, preach with a preacher. What are you doing? I'm building on my account. Shout a big amen. What are you doing? I'm building on my account. Give your tithes in the house of the Lord. What are you doing? I'm building an account. So that tomorrow when I'm in need, I'll go to my filing cabinet and I will remove the account file. And I'll tell my secretary, can you give me the latest audited accounts? And they should. I'll get the file and present it to God. Say, God, remember, when there was a need in the church, when there was a need in the house of God, I did this. Let's go to the book of Nehemiah. I show you another man who presented his account. Nehemiah, I believe it is the 5th chapter, verse number 14 of the book of Nehemiah. He said, Moreover, from the time that I was appointed to be their governor in the land of Judah, and from the 20th year, even unto the 32nd year of that king, that is 12 years. He said, for 12 years, I and my brethren have not eaten the bread of the governor. Now, I want you to note this. Nehemiah is saying, I have drawn a line between the state and the church. He said, as a clergy, I have no relationship with the state. The state don't give me food. The state don't sustain me. I have to do the work of God. He said, I have not eaten anything from the governor's office. I have not gone to because everybody was allocated. As long as you are a servant of God, they were allocated a portion from the government, a portion from the governor. And he said, for me, I never ate anything. Verse number 15. But the former governors that were being before me were chargeable unto the people, and had taken of them bread. Look at the things that he was talking about. Bread and wine, and beside 40 shekels of silver. Yea, even their servants bear rule over the people. But so did not I, because of the fear of God. He said, I never did all this. He is presenting his account. He said, I didn't do that, God. I want to remind you my dealings and my relationship with these people. He said, I have been, he said, verse number 16, yea, also I continued in the work of this war, neither both we. Now I want you to underline that. He is saying, when we were building the walls of Jerusalem, he said, we didn't even buy ourselves our own land. And all my servants were gathered thither unto the work. He said, everybody. And we never went buying our own land and buying our own wonderful, powerful vehicles. He said, as long as we are building, everybody suspended their personal things, plus myself as Nehemiah. I never bought myself no land, because the money I had, I gave to the church. Nehemiah is giving an account of his stewardship. He's saying, this is what I did, God. He said, when the church was in need, I went to my account and withdrew some money and gave to the church. When there was a need, when the pastor was having a missionary trip to go someplace, I went and I gave some money to the work of God. Praise the name of the Lord. I said, praise of the name of the Lord. He talked all these. He said, moreover, verse number 17, moreover, there were at my table 150 of the Jews and rulers, besides those that came unto us from among the heathen that were about us. Now, verse 18, that which was prepared for me. Look at his daily rationing, what he was supposed to be feeding on. All this. But you know what he said? Yet, for all this required not I the bread of the governor, because the bondage was heavy upon these people. He said, I never burdened God's people. Paul said, I worked with my own hands as a pastor. I worked with my own hands. I earned my own living. I was telling somebody, we give our money. Even me, my wife, she give her tithe. I give my tithe. I support when everybody else is giving. I don't get nothing. These guys, they know. And when we stand here asking for a seed, you don't give to me. I also give. I also sow a seed to the ministry. He said, verse number 19, he said, think upon me, my God. I have presented my account. Are you getting that? He said, I have presented my account. I want you to think upon me, O God, for good, according to all that I have done. Now, he was sent into the vineyard of God. You were sent into the vineyard of God. What have you done? Nehemiah had a need. You have a need. When you go to God, God is asking, give an account of your stewardship, because you may no longer, depending on how your account is, you may no longer be a steward. And there you are, my sister, saying the prayers of the pastor and the prayers of the saints, they even anoint me with oil, but they don't do nothing. The prayers are not answered. No, the problem is not the prayers. The problem is your account. The problem is your account. When you are brought to church, you are like hired by God. Amen. We said on Wednesday, you come to church late, 30 minutes late, and immediately after the service you have no dealing with anybody. You are the first one to hit the gate and you're gone until Sunday. If people are asked your name, they don't even know your name. And you also, you don't know nobody in the church other than your husband and your children. Even when the pastor said turn to your neighbor, you turn to somebody, you wonder, have I seen you again? And this is somebody that have been in the church for a long time. But you see what you did when you came to the vineyard, you did fold your hands and stood on the periphery and say, let us see how it will go. Nehemiah chapter 13. Nehemiah, when he came again to Jerusalem, he found true worship had been forsaken. People were not doing the right thing the way they are supposed to be done. I'm talking about a child of God giving an account of what God has given them. They give an account. Verse number 7, he said, and I came, verse number 7 of Nehemiah, the 13th chapter, he said, and I came to Jerusalem and understood all the evil that Eliashib did for Tobiah, in preparing him a chamber in the courts of the house of God. All of you, you know who was Tobiah. Tobiah was a man who opposed the truth. A man that never wanted the work of God to prosper. But here is a man called Eliashib. He made him a chamber in the house of God. He entertained the workers of iniquity in the house of God. He recognized them. Then verse number 8 says, and it grieved me so. Nehemiah is talking to God. Nehemiah is giving an account of his stewardship. Question I'm asking this morning, my brother, my sister, can you take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 1 hour giving God your account? Telling God what you have been doing since he brought you to his vineyard. Nehemiah is giving report after report. His account was strong. He said, it grieved me so. Therefore, I cast forth all the household stuff of Tobiah out of the chamber. He said, I did it myself. I was not going to permit the work of God to be polluted. What is that? When you go before God to pray, do you only say, heal me, heal me, heal me? Or do you tell God, I did this, and because of that, remember me? Amen. He said, verse number 9, then I commanded, and they cleansed the chambers. And thither brought I again the vessels of the house of God, and with the meat offering and the frankincense. He said, I brought order in the house of God. He said, everything that had been neglected, I brought it back. And I perceived, verse number 10, that the portion of the Levites had not been given unto them. For the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled every man to his field. In other words, everybody had gone to do their own things. They have forsaken the vineyard of God. He said, I returned through worship in the house of God. He said, if anybody is going to backslide, it is not because of me. But when the evil I found in the house of God, I made it upon myself to rectify it and to cleanse the house of God and to teach people how to reference God. Hallelujah. He said, verse number 11, then I contended I with the rulers and said, why is the house of God forsaken? And I gathered them together and set them in their places. Then brought all Judah the tithe, listen to that, the tithe of the corn and the new wine and the oil unto the treasuries. And so he is giving this as an account. And I said, when you go to God to pray, before you tell him, God, do this and do this, he said, give me an account of your stewardship. Verse number 14, he said, remember me. Before he told God to remember him, he had to give an account. Amen. He had to give God an account. Remember me, oh my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good. Now ask your neighbor, do you have any good deed in the house of God? Do you have any good deed that God can remember you for in the house of God? Or you have just been a bother? Have you been the one who have been bringing trouble in the vineyard? Just eating the vines. He said, remember me, O God, concerning these, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of God. Amen. So what is that thing that you have done for the house of God? Remember the centurion who had a servant who was sick, and he went to Jesus. And this man was begging Jesus to heal his servant. But Jesus was saying, but I don't know you. But the women that were there, people came of that city. He said, Jesus, Master, this man deserve what he is asking from you. And Jesus said, how is his account? How is his account? And they said, he has built a lot of synagogues for us. He has done a lot of things for us. And Jesus said, his account is okay. So I'll do exactly what he desired for me to do for him. Amen. So who told you God is a magician? Parapoter. That you become a bother in the church, a gossip in the church, unfaithful in the church. Nobody knows what you'll do tomorrow, what you'll not do tomorrow. And when you're in need, you just say, God, heal me. God is saying, but what have you been doing? How is your account? Amen? How is your account? God, there's a promotion in our office, in our business, in our company. God, I pray, Pastor, pray for me. I get that promotion. Pastor will pray, but Pastor is not the final. God is saying, give the little promotion you have had, the little money that you have been earning. How have you been doing, or what have you been doing with it? How is your account? He said, remember me and wipe not my good deeds in the house of God that I have done. Do you have any good deeds? Do you have any good deeds that you can present to God when you're preparing? Verse number 15. In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath. He saw people working on the Sabbath day. People going for their businesses when they're supposed to be in the church. And it grieved Nehemiah. Today everybody want to go. That is why Sunday afternoon nobody appears here, because you had an appointment in the afternoon. And God is saying, I've given you Monday, I've given you Tuesday, I've given you Friday, Thursday, and all those, even Saturday, I've given you. All what I want is one day from you. And Nehemiah, when he went there, he found people had started even going to businesses and bringing in sheaves, and they turned the church into a trading center, larding asses and also wine presses and figs and all manner of burdens which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sowed virtues. He said, why should you turn the house of God into a business center? Why should you do these in the house of the Lord?